suppose like every other church, we shut down for a while. Then we went back to 20. I can't remember when we stopped. That was October something, Sharon will know. And we've been back for a month or so at 50 people allowed to meet. We have 2 services on a Sunday morning now. And we actually planted a church in the middle of the pandemic last year in the scheme next to us in Bingham. We've seen more conversions during the pandemic than we've probably seen at any other time. And we have so many unbelievers coming to a lot of our stuff. So yeah, I'll be happy for it to carry on for a few more years, to be honest.
Mez, any wisdom for church leaders as they're leading their church out of lockdown? What have you found helpful as you lead your church into this next stage?
To explain what you mean by that, so I can understand.
Has there been anything that you found to encourage them to come back, or how you sort of help them to reform as a church and get back into serving?
I mean, we've got some advantages, right? If you're a gathered church, it must be a bit of a mare. If you've had people coming from everywhere, that must be a nightmare. People get out of a habit, don't they? And so, because we're more, not all of our members, obviously, but the great majority of our members live in the scheme, it's never felt like we've been apart, if you understand what I mean by that. Obviously, we've missed meeting together on Sundays and the prayer meetings and other stuff, but Zoom has been pretty good. But then we've see each other in the streets more regularly. And so our leading people out of lockdown perhaps isn't as extreme as brothers and sisters in other churches who have got different contextual difficulties than we've got. So in many ways, I feel like we're very, very, very fortunate in Niddrie. We've got a few people who think we should be more strict on rules, and a few people who are anti-vaxxers and don't want to wear masks. And that's the tension that I suppose a lot of churches are working with, but we seem to have navigated that. I think the big thing we decided to do, because we filmed, when we were not meeting together at all, we live streamed our sermon. So whoever was preaching, me or another guy, we'd go down to the church and preach, and it would be watched obviously live by the congregation. We decided that we would stop a month ago, once we could meet together, rather than keeping people dependent upon that medium. We decided that we weren't going to offer that anymore, except in special cases for elderly and or really sick people who aren't able to get out. We give them a special code, and in that way we weren't encouraging, because people are lazy, right? They'll take the path of least resistance, and if you've been watching online or YouTube for a year, it's very easy then to just do that. And so that was probably the most self-conscious step we took as a church leadership.